I'm with Tim Stanley. It is November 10th, 2016, and we're in Alden Central Schools.
I was born in Buffalo, New York on 2/22/62. My parents are still actually alive, still live in Alden, and my dad worked for General Motors, and my mom has always been a stay-at-home mom. I have two sisters, one Alma, one lives in West Seneca. My younger sister lives in Alma, New York. She did not serve, and my older sister lives in West Seneca, New York, and she did not serve either. I was 4 years in the active Air Force and 1 year in the Air National Guard. I enlisted. I felt like the Air Force was the safest place to be, where I could work on planes and get a career, and I still currently work in the airline industry, so it's difficult. I went to Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas. That's where basic training is there. Basic training in Air Force, from what I've heard, is a lot easier than other basic trainings. By the time basic training got done, we had to do 15 push-ups, 15 sit-ups, and run a mile. And yeah, most people can pretty much do that, but that was the service I chose, and I'm glad I did it. My instructors in basic training it was funny, both of my instructors were one male and one female, but they were both about 1.5 feet shorter than me. So they were yelling directly into my chest as I was looking over their heads, so it made it a lot easier. Yes, after I left basic training, I went to my tech school in Chanute Air Force Base, and that's when I learned hydraulics and pneumatics and a mechanic on a plane. And like I said, I still work in that industry now. Food was awesome. I mean, people talk about how terrible the food was. And to tell you the truth, I joined the service because I was a mama's boy and I didn't want to live with my parents the rest of my life. So I figured, you know what, the only thing I got to do is cut the apron strings and get out and get a job. And it worked out well. Bergstrom Air Force Base, Austin, Texas. It's no longer an Air Force base now, it's actually an airport. So yeah, the base is gone now. Mine was an aircraft mechanic. The only time I got called up in service is there was a Grenada, but we never really left. We were just on call in case something ever happened. I still have a lot of friends of people that I was in the military with, and keep their families and what they're doing nowadays. Unfortunately, none of them live in the area, so most of it was phone calls. I was an honorable person and did nothing wrong. Just like everybody else, we went out drinking and gambling and having fun, and I never went to work. I got out of the military. That's when I got out of the active duty and then went up to Niagara Falls Air Force Base here and did 1 year in the Air National Guard. It took a while, but even now, 30 years later, I still can't sleep in. When I was in the military, at 5 o'clock in the morning, you had inspection every morning. So you actually had to shower, wipe your shower down, clean your room, have everything, and standing outside by 5 a.m. So I still now, my wife kills me because 4:30, 5 o'clock, I got to get up and do something, and she doesn't have to do that. One thing about veterans, I always think that the veterans are always a great group of people. They're very giving, and they are just great people to hang around with. Again, I still use my career in the Air Force for my full-time job. I think I just mentioned that as far as just being respectful of other people, making people feel good about themselves, and just, living every day to the fullest, because you never know. I feel good about the military. I've never been involved with war, so I can't really say that. I would imagine people that have seen some of the things people have seen, it's got to be terrible. I hope we still have a country. Now that we expected our first female president to be elected, that didn't happen. We have Donald Trump as president, so hopefully someday somebody hears this, and hopefully people continue joining the service if they think that this is a great country and this is what they want to do.